I will start out with an observation and a question of my own.
Sure.
The problem with open sourcing instrumentation of data is, as we've learned, open source can be a security risk. Cough, cough, log4j, cough, cough. Do you have any insight into how they're protecting against injecting security risk?
Yeah, so that's a great point. The open telemetry is actually, while it's open source, it's not ad hoc. Mm-hmm. And so the big contributors are commercial vendors who are interested in freeing the world, in opening up data to collect more data, right? So Splunk is a huge contributor. We're #1 contributor to the product. But #2 right behind it are the hosting providers like Google Cloud and AWS, and I forget who the fourth one is. But the key with the market is APM, right? Mm-hmm. And if I'm going to be super pointed, the instrumentation is APM. And I used to be an engineer for an APM company, and I would go around and install this stuff, and it takes so long to install and so much work to instrument applications when you're talking about across the enterprise that the vendor lock-in gets really tough, and so nobody can change. They can't alter their kind of the direction that they're going, and so all these companies, data companies, are trying to break free, give the customers the tools to break free from being locked into a very specific tool set, so they're not locked into all these different siloed tools. And so that's where it's coming from, but it's a professionally managed, professionally contributed to project by reputable companies with
with skin in the game.
With skin in the game, right. Yeah. So it's not just a
got it. So it's I'm doing, All right, we could go down that rat hole, but I take your point, and that is a great answer. We've actually got a question that came in on the Q&A. How do you understand topology and data flow from standardized messaging?
Historically, when Splunk started, it was all about unstructured data, because data is, it comes in all shapes and forms, and you can never it's really hard to get it standardized. And so, yeah, the bulk of the data that comes in is logs, and we're even, we get Google Analytics data, we get all kinds of random data. It's an analytics tool, just the most often used use case is logs, because there's just so much data for it. But yeah, so, and this is I had that little data tiering conversation, and the logs are the most basic form of data that you don't have to think about, and you can just dump it in and standardize, normalize historical Splunk. But with open telemetry, now we're actually getting into instrumentation of an app. So if you install the open telemetry, let's say you're building a new web service and it's multi-tiered in Kubernetes and has 100 different services. Well, you can put open telemetry on that instance, and it will trace between tiers, and it'll give you an APM style view into the product, and it has the ability to build dynamic service maps of an application.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's actually really cool, because in the past, other ways that have tried this was very much like point and click. And we have the point and click, build your own CMDB kind of thing, which takes a little bit of upkeep. But yeah, the dynamic service map based on the instrumentation, it telling us what it's talking to, is really awesome. And it's one of the big innovations that our team has done, that I've been in APM for my whole career, and I've never seen the dynamic service map building in the way that we're doing. It's pretty neat. I mean,
and Craig, I am so sorry, because I have been remiss in my roles as MC, and I allowed us to go over a bit.
Oh, man.
So I'm gonna have to wrap this up. But you guys can do a Geek Love Fest.
Yeah,
afterwards.
I could rant on this for hours.
Yeah, and everybody, please, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Very much.